Well, hey, look out for the Atlanta Braves, who are on their hottest roll of the season, winners of 4 in a row, and coming off a dramatic walk-off win last night against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The hitting has gotten hot, and the clutch hits are rolling in at the right time. And tonight, Atlanta looks to make it 5 in a row as their young ace, Tommy Hanson, strides to the mound looking to shut down the Diamondbacks. It's Saturday night, and it's a great night for baseball and the Braves on Sports South. All roads lead to Turner Field in Atlanta for the middle game of our 3-game series with the Diamondbacks. And all year long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff and the low price. Another big crowd is gathering for Game 2 tonight. The Braves have won 4 games in a row and try to get back to the 500 mark tonight here at Turner Field. And good evening, everybody. With my partner, Joe Simpson, I'm Chip Carey. A thrilling outcome last night for the Braves. They won it 6-5 on that dramatic big hit from Martin Prado. And all of a sudden, Joe, Bobby Cox has a lot of lineup options to ponder for this weekend series with the D-backs.
There are a lot of guys swinging hot bats right now, Chip. And boy, we've been waiting a long time to see that. Of course, when you look at the lineup tonight, that's something we've also been waiting to see, and that's a full complement of guys that were expected to be in the lineup at the beginning of the season. You see Yunel Escobar, fresh off the disabled list tonight, will bat 7th, and he'll be at shortstop. But Eric Hinsky also has been swinging a hot bat. He's in there. He's going to stay in there for a while. But it's not just those guys. Check it out. Jason Hayward. How about this? 4 homers, 12 RBIs in his last 11 games. And 2 guys off the bench, Hinsky and Infante, have made wonderful contributions during this good run the Braves are on. Infante will have to take a seat tonight for Escobar, but Troy Gloss is having a great month of May. Hit a couple of home runs in Milwaukee that were instrumental in Braves wins. The month of May so far has been kind to several guys. The ones we just talked about, Hayward hitting just a cool 500. Hinsky, Gloss, and Infante also having great months. Braves have vastly improved, hitting with runners in scoring position. They're tied for the best mark in the majors, if you can believe that. After such a miserable April, they're really driving in those runs when they get chances right now, and that's good to see.
What a difference a week makes for this ball club offensively. And one thing that hasn't changed, the ace, Tommy Hanson, has been absolutely brilliant. Some are calling him Tom Terrific here in Atlanta, GA. And Tommy Hanson takes the ball for the Braves in Game 2. We'll break down his season and tonight's start as the Braves try to make it 5 in a row here at Turner Field. On Sports South, are brought to you in part by your local Ford dealers, by AT&T, and by Geico. Another big crowd gathering tonight at Turner Field. It's a hot and sticky Saturday night. Speaking of hot, the Braves going for their 5th consecutive win at home. And Joe facing a Diamondback club that's really struggling. They've dropped 7 in a row and now have to run into Tommy Hanson, a terrific strikeout pitcher, facing a Diamondback ball club that's averaging 9 strikeouts per game. And he's averaging a strikeout per inning so far in his starts. In fact, in recent days, the Braves have won 3 of his last 4 starts. 5 of his last 6. Tommy Hanson's doing great work. 2 starts ago, 8 innings against the Houston Astros. His last start against Milwaukee, 8 innings. He's going deeper into ball games. Everything's working. He's enjoying pitching, and it's showing. Very aggressive, and I expect him to be extremely aggressive against this Arizona club that you know likes to get up there and wail away. Tommy Hanson's faced him 1 time. He's beaten them 1 time, and yes, indeed, he's going to try to keep this Braves streak rolling at home. Braves have won 4 straight at the TED. They look to make it 5 in a row and look to continue the miseries of A.J. Hinch, who celebrates a birthday today for Arizona. Stay tuned. Jason Hayward, Brian McCann, and the Bravos look to win it again tonight. Game 2 of the series, starting lineups coming up right after this. Saturday night here in Braves country and at Turner Field in Atlanta, where our broadcast on Sports South is presented in beautiful high definition by H.H. Gregg. The ballpark is buzzing again tonight. The Braves, with a win this evening, would have their 5th in a row and get back to the 500 mark. And who better than Tommy Hanson to mow down this Arizona Diamondbacks starting 9. The D-backs have lost 7 straight. Former Brave Kelly Johnson starts them off. Beware of Connor Jackson. He's worn out the Braves in his young big league career. Then it's Justin Upton, former Brave Adam LaRoche, the cleanup man. Mark Reynolds at third base. A lot of power and a lot of punch-outs. Stephen Drew, Chris Young, Chris Snyder, and Rodrigo Lopez, the Diamondback pitcher, hits 9th. Tommy Hanson, 23 years old, 6'6", 220, out of Redlands, California, makes his 8th start of the year. His last 4 starts, he's gone 2-1 with an excellent ERA of an even 2. And check out the walks to strikeouts over that period. Just 5 walks, 28 strikeouts. His last start, arguably his best of the year. Can't get a whole lot better against Milwaukee. 8 innings, a 4-hit shutout ball, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. He's had great aggressiveness. Keep it.
and mix his off-speed pitches. He's got a good curveball and changeup. Use both of them tonight to keep these guys off balance.
Umpiring crew is assigned by Major League Baseball. Marvin Hudson behind the plate. Darryl Cousins, Jim Joyce, Todd Titchener will work the bases in the middle game of our 3-game weekend series. Beautiful baseball night. Let's see what Tommy Hanson has in store as he faces the Diamondbacks for the first time this year. And his first pitch to former teammate Kelly Johnson misses up and away for a ball. Kelly had a couple of hits in the lid lifter last night. He was 2 for 5.
I like that. The good old lid lifter. Breaking out the 1963 parlance on me tonight.
An old soul, buddy.
It's outstanding.
Well, you dropped Bowel Locker on me, I think, last time we were in Milwaukee. So
might see one of those. More than one from Tommy tonight.
You'll see a lot of that, too. High heat. Boy, his fastball has been very consistent, very effective, and there's been very little drop-off from the beginning of the game to the end. That's awfully encouraging. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Left-handers hitting at 100 points higher than right-handers against Tommy.
Breaking ball takes care of Kelly Johnson.
Lefty's hitting 284 against him. Right-handers just 183. Here's a good off-speed pitch, the breaking ball. And Johnson swings right through it. That won't be the last one of those tonight. Swinging right through it.
Amazing. The Diamondbacks have struck out now 335 times this year. That's an average of a little more than 9 strikeouts per game. In other words, that is 3 innings of every 9 offensively where Arizona has no offensive contact. Well, that's got to be an awfully tough way to try to win.
If you're not putting the ball in play, you're not putting pressure on the defense. And even if you don't hit it sharply, you force them to make a play. When you turn around and go back to the dugout, there's no pressure. These guys do see a lot of pitches. And, you know, some of that's got to be attributed to all their strikeouts. That's at least 3 pitches an at-bat, right?
Good point.
But they're averaging over 4 per at-bat, and that's among the league leaders.
Jackson a little late. That was tipped and caught by McCann, and Hanson ahead 1-2. That fastball at 96.
Jackson missed most of last year, only had 99 at-bats, suffering from fatigue, and they later diagnosed it as that valley fever that you can contract out in Phoenix. I have no idea what it is, but I know it's a little bit like mononucleosis or something of that nature.
My partner Steve Stone with the Cubs had it.
Yeah.
And chronic fatigue, weight loss, and it is a horrible malady. Another slider, another strikeout. Good sign for Tommy. He's got the heat and he's got the hook early.
There's that nasty, short, hard slider. 2 for 2 so far.
He's batting 1,000. The D-backs are 0 for 2. And here's Upton, one of their hottest hitters during this 7-game Arizona losing run. He's got 8 hits in his last 25 at-bats in that stretch. Upton, as you know, the #1 overall pick in the amateur draft in 2005.
They were concerned about him after they left Arizona, having lost 6 in a row at home. He wasn't swinging the bat real well. And according to his manager, A.J. Hinch, he was trying to swing himself out of it. and came through with 3 hits last night, so they feel a little better about it.
That ball hammered center field and well hit. Nobody's getting that. Justin Upton has put Arizona in front with a long home run. Tommy fell behind him, and Upton guessed right and did not miss it. His 6th home run of the year.
Last night I thought he hit the ball out when he hit the ground rule double to deep left center. He didn't leave any doubt on this one. Fastball on a 2-0 count. And he hit it right on the sweet spot. 4th home run allowed by Hansen.
And now Adam LaRoche is up. Adam, a tough night last night. Hitless in 5 at-bats. And struck out 3 times. And, Joe, I think it's safe to say in the first 3 hitters, we've got a very small sample of what the Arizona offense is like.
Perfect sample. Swings and misses and swings and connect.
Adam LaRoche got off to a very hot start for the Diamondbacks, but he too has cooled off in the last week. He struck out 10 times in his last 25 at-bats and has only 3 hits in that stretch,
including 3 times last night. Best April of his career. A traditionally slow starter. All of a sudden, May's become a problem. 3 for 20 his last 25. Two
balls, 2 strikes. Arizona at 14 wins, 22 losses. They've buried themselves in the National League West. They've got to find a way to catch the Padres. Arizona 8.5 games out of first place already. Breaking ball strikes out the side. LaRoche takes a called third, but Justin Upton hit a tape measure shot into the seats in left center. His 6th home run of the year gives Arizona a first inning lead of 1-0.
Is 34 years old, 6'1", 185, out of Mexico, makes his 8th start of the year. You see his record and ERA not so good, but his last couple of starts much improved. Opponents only hitting 192 against him in his last 2 starts.
Line right to Reynolds at third. A hard hit ball from Prado. And 1 up and 1 man down.
And the 4 pitching keys to success for Rodrigo Lopez. Left-handed hitter, danger, you bet. Lefties hitting .361 against him. And is he all the way back? He underwent Tommy John surgery back in 2008 while in the Braves organization. He was trying to fight his way through some elbow problems. Spent last year in the Phillies organization.
And faces Jason Hayward, who enters play tonight 1 point below the 300 mark with that batting average. And the first one of those big left-handed bats that have given Lopez early season trouble.
Yeah, they're hitting 100 and almost 20 points better from the left side than the right against Lopez.
A lot of fans around the Southeast might wonder, why does Bobby Cox hit Hayward second in this lineup for Atlanta? The big number, if you look at that high-definition scoreboard in center, is on-base percentage. Hayward's getting on nearly 43% of the time in all of his plate appearances. Lots of walks, lots of hits, and that feeds, obviously, the middle of the order.
I like his aggressiveness after Bobby suggested that maybe he could be a little more aggressive. He's certainly taken that to heart with very good swings, very aggressive swings earlier in the count. Lopez spent most of last year in AAA with the Phillies, but did spend some time with the big club and went 3-1 with them. Knows how to pitch, fastball, slider, changeup guy. He's been on the Mexican national team in each of the World Baseball Classics.
Missed inside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And he's pitched in the Mexican League too with the Tomateros de Culiacan. Full count. Popped up. Reynolds and Drew on the left side. It'll be the Arizona shortstop. And Hayward pops out. And Chipper Jones bats for the first time. Another area of concern for Arizona has been their defense. They've made 24 errors this year. Chris Young can really fly, as can Upton in the outfield. Very slick at first with Reynolds, Drew, and Kelly Johnson joining Adam LaRoche. And Chris Snyder is the Diamondbacks catcher tonight.
Chipper Jones doing something tonight that he hasn't done in a long time. Can you tell standing there what he's doing differently?
1 ball, 1 strike.
Probably not. He went from a 34 to a 32-ounce bat.
Really?
Yeah. Gone to a lighter bat. Hoping it'll help him catch up a little bit to some fastballs left-handed.
2 ounces makes that big of a difference?
Oh, yes. You'd be surprised how much lighter it would feel in your hands compared to that log he usually swings.
And wasn't it Willie Stargell in the minor leagues with Chipper Jones who made him swing a heavier bat?
Yes.
As a shortstop prospect in the system?
It's funny things you have to do when you start getting a little bit of gray in your beard.
Chipper struck out looking, and Lopez retires the Braves in order in the bottom of the first inning. Arizona leads by a run. Tommy Hanson back to the mound in Game 2 at Turner Field. The Braves on Sports South are brought to you in part by AT&T Uverse, by McDonald's, and by Georgia Power. Crowd still filing in here at Turner Field, and after one inning of play, it's 1-0 Diamondbacks on Justin Upton solo home run with 2 outs. Mark Reynolds will start things off for Arizona. A ton of power, but also a strikeout candidate. And our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard says that Reynolds is a man with a lot of company on that Arizona roster in strikeouts.
Including the guy that just went deep. Tied with David Wright for the most strikeouts.
Reynolds, a former college baseball player at the University of Virginia. Well, they've had some great players come out of that state in recent years. The Upton family, David Wright, Brian Zimmerman, just to name a couple. And now Reynolds, sitting on 99 lifetime homers, leads off the second inning. Tommy Hanson has 4 outs in this game, all of them via strikeout.
Something new for you folks and our never-ending efforts to try to improve our broadcast. You see this angle on Fox Tracks from right above the pitcher's mound. You get a direct shot of the ball going to home plate instead of the camera angle being a little bit off center. We got Gumby out there mounting the camera tonight, high above the batter's eye. And we hope you like it.
Drew, a comebacker through the box. Escobar's first chance. Look at the range Unell showed. Remember, it was an adductor muscle that sent him to the disabled list. He looked nimble-footed making that play.
Had a couple of hits last night for Gwinnett in his only rehab assignment. Fancy footwork there, just missed by Tommy Hanson. Looked like a river dancer, but really didn't need his tap shoes.
I don't know if anybody's ever used River Dancer in a Major League broadcast before. Congratulations.
It looked really sharp on Tommy's part, because I don't know if people know it. He's very good at it.
Here's Chris Young. 1 ball, no strikes.
The entire Hanson family travels all over California performing the river dance.
Really?
Just want to see if you want to keep digging. 2 balls, no strikes. Another good crowd on hand. We had 30,000 plus here last night. Probably a number close to that tonight, if not some more. Yeah. It's the slider. Just a different angle from his curveball gives the hitter something else to think about.
That's hit in the air shallowly toward left. Escobar out, Hinsky in, and Eric is there. And Tommy Hanson recovers with a very easy 9-pitch second inning. Ball night in Atlanta. Braves coming up with the middle of their order in the second inning, and it's time now for a money and energy-saving bright idea from Georgia Power. Use a programmable thermostat correctly to save money and energy. Go to GeorgiaPower.com for more energy-saving tips. Georgia Power, a Southern company. We saw a little Georgia Power from Brian McCann last night.
Indeed we did.
And a little more here in the second inning. A clean single to right.
Sign of things to come, we hope. With his new glasses, seeing a little better at night. And a breaking ball stayed out over the plate a little bit. Caught too much of it. You know how those glasses will slow you down, so they've been taken off so he can go first to third here on this base hit by Troy.
He's much more aerodynamic. As a red-hot Troy Glaus stands in, he's had a terrific 3-week run. His average up to 261. But not only the average climbing, up to 23 RBIs, and he too getting on base so much, turning the lineup over. More guys like Hinsky and Omar Infante.
Almost an RBI per game over that stretch, and a lot of walks. That's where I think Hinsky and Infante became so valuable, because Troy was on base so much. They followed him, were red hot, moving guys around.
Two balls, no strikes. Good hitters count. And even better now at 3-0. We kind of alluded to it in our open. Isn't it funny how this game works? 7 days ago, everybody in Braves country was wondering who in the world's going to get hot. Now you get Escobar back, and a man that went 4 for 4 last night is forced to the bench.
Yeah,
Omar Infante.
How bad is that? You go 4 for 4, and somebody comes to you and says, "We'll get back to you."
4 straight, has Gloss at first, McCann at second, and nobody out.
I talked to Infante before the game a little bit just to tell him, how great he's been playing and how hard it must be to, take a seat right now. And it's almost an insult to say, stay ready because, you might be right back in there tomorrow or something. But he understands his role and goes, I know. I'll be ready.
And boy, was he ever when Yunel went down. I mean, he really was a lifeboat for this Braves offense. And now Hinsky takes a belt-high strike.
Eric has faced Rodrigo Lopez more than anybody in the lineup by far. 32 at bats, 9 hits and a homer.
Most of that work coming when both of these players were in the American League. And they have a little history together, besides their matchups. As that one hit a mile high deep toward left, but it's playable. And the catch made by Jackson. McCann's going to tag. And Gloss thought better of it as the throw came into second. Hinsky advances McCann 90 feet. Productive at bat for the first out. But the history between Hinsky and Lopez, people forget Rodrigo, when he was with Baltimore, finished second in the Rookie of the Year race in 2002 to Eric Hinsky of the Toronto Blue Jays.
I didn't know that. Lopez was a top-notch prospect and player when he broke in.
Yunel Escobar's first at bat. So he's coming back from the DL, and a quick strike.
Nice situation for him in his first at bat back from the DL to be able to drive in a run that would tie the game up.
He went down April 29th with a left adductor muscle. As Joe mentioned, 3 at bats in Gwinnett last night, a couple of hits. But he was really looking good, according to Bobby Cox, 4 or 5 days before that rehab assignment to AAA last night. So even though he had limited game duty, Braves really worked him out hard on the road trip.
3 for 7 getting that runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
Braves would like to make a little tougher, life a little tougher on Lopez than they were able to do against Ian Kennedy last night.
Kennedy was very impressive, working both sides of the plate with all his pitches.
And the game plan for any team playing the Diamondbacks, at least right now, get that starter out of the game as quick as you can and get into that bullpen. It's been a horrible problem for him to start the year.
Nightmare. Biggest difference between ERAs from starters to bullpen in some 50 years in the major leagues. Belongs to the Diamondbacks right now.
First and third, 1 out, 2-2 count. Good eye, 3-2.
Everything away from him, trying to get him to maybe roll over on one of those breaking balls to perhaps start a double play. But everything's been middle away.
Gloss is going. And the pitch driven down the right field line. Heading toward the line is Upton, and to the seats. That is a foul ball.
And caught the ball. I don't know if he reached over or not. Daryl Cousins is the first base umpire. Apparently he thought it was inside the wall.
So that fan may have given Unell an extra swing.
Well, he had the right idea, trying to take that outside pitch to right field.
Gloss was running on the last 3-2. Let's see if he's going again. He is. And we'll do it again. Good at bat continues for Unell Escobar in the Atlanta second.
Rodrigo Lopez last start came against the Dodgers at home. He got beat, but pitched 7 strong innings. He did walk 5 on that occasion, struck out 3. And the 5 walks were a season high. Something he really doesn't have too much trouble with is his control. But he's already walked 1 tonight.
And he's going to have an 8-pitch at bat with Escobar now. And another 3-2 count. This has been, frankly, a trademark of this Braves club all year long. They have been a club that has drawn a lot of walks. They've had a lot of base runners, and they have been able to get starting pitchers out of the game oftentimes well before the 7th.
I think it speaks to Lopez's reluctance to try to pitch inside, too. He just continues to throw the ball away from Unell. He doesn't want to walk another guy and load the bases, but everything has been away.
Would he dare try to sneak one over the inside corner here?
Moving in. His fastball is around 90. So it's certainly good enough to pitch inside if he wants to, especially in light of all these pitches outside. 1 back away.
Gloss goes. And another fly ball foul off the bat of Escobar. Great battle continues now.
Troy's having fun.
Yeah.
The great thing for Troy, though, even though he's getting a little running in here, is that when he does go back out for defense, he's only got to go about 10 yards. And it's a short John out there to first.
Troy started this game 6'5", 240. There he goes again. Ball 4, they're loaded. Well, that's a really big major league piece of hitting from Escobar.
Came in on him, but came in too far. And one of last night's heroes is at the plate, Nate McLeod. On a 2-2 pitch, launched this one into the right field seats off of Gutierrez. That tied the game. His 3rd homer of the year. And the last thing A.J. Hinch or Mel Stottlemyre Jr. wants is a short outing from a starting pitcher, given their problems in the bullpen. But that's what the Braves are hoping they can make happen.
That's Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the son of the great major league pitching coach. For so many years with the Yankees during their great runs. Seattle as well. Here's McLeod. Bases full of Braves with one out and a one-run Arizona game. Braves this year with the bases loaded are 11 for 41 as a team.
He sure painted that corner. Like Nate was upset with himself, got a pretty good breaking ball to hit there and was under it.
He has struck out a lot in the early going this year. He's down 2 strikes. And popped up. Back behind the screen. Snyder will run out of room.
They do that to Nate a lot, and they get ahead in the count. Because of that drastic uppercut of his, they'll run the ball up above his hands, let her higher above, and that's about all he can do with it is send it straight up the chute.
Yeah, you just hope the playing confines are small enough to let that thing drift into the seats. It did that time for it. 0-2. That didn't miss by much. McLeod, the key man in this inning.
And that replay shows it's a lot closer than I thought it was.
Hit the spot for a second time and a second out in this second inning. Big pitch from Lopez. Second strikeout of the game, and it's up to Hansen if the Braves are to cash in this second inning chance.
That looked like a good pitch. I mean, he started it more to the center of the plate than he did the one before. And while the one before was close, that one was a better pitch.
Nate leads the team now with 31 strikeouts. And so bases loaded for Atlanta. 2 outs now, and Tommy Hansen. Ground ball hit toward Kelly Johnson. And the Braves load the bases in the second, but cannot push across a game-tying run. We've completed 2 in Atlanta. 1-0 Diamondbacks. The right stuff and the low price. Arizona by a 1-0 score. Braves had the bases loaded, couldn't tie it a moment ago. And we invite you to join us at the Ted for Memorial Day weekend, May 28th, 29th, and 30th. The Pirates will be in town. And our Memorial Day weekend festivities are presented by Myrtle Beach Conventions and Visitors Bureau. You can see fireworks on Friday, kids can run the bases Sunday at a free Beach Boys concert on Monday. For tickets, we invite you to visit us at braves.com/tickets. And this Atlanta franchise, because of you great fans all throughout the Southeast, one of the positive signs as far as attendance is concerned in baseball. Braves are drawing very well in the early going. A lot of that having to do with that young man out in right field, Jason Hayward.
And the guy on the mound.
Yeah. And Tommy Hanson down a run, facing the 8, 9, and 1 spots for Arizona. Falls behind the catcher, Chris Snyder. Snyder went 1 for 3 last night.
Yeah, I think only the Twins have a higher increase in attendance to this point, and they have a new stadium, you might remember.
Ball 3, 3-0 with the pitcher next. At Target Field, the new playpen of the first place Minnesota Twins. Place we will see an interlude play later this year.
Tommy Hanson can have some talks with himself. They're short, they're to the point, but he does listen.
You can let your fastball do your talking for you if it's 95 and perfectly placed.
Well, in the first inning after the homer, he was mad, fell behind LaRoche, or he got ahead of LaRoche, but he made a pitch 0-2 that he wasn't happy with, walked off the back of the mound, had that little chat, walked back up the mound, and struck him out looking.
Back to the mound. Nice recovery for Hanson. Fell behind 3-0 and got Snyder. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Rodrigo Lopez. Lopez, as a major league pitcher, 69 wins and 68 losses for his career. Probably remembers when he could throw that hard.
Probably does, and wishes he could do it again. Braves made some other moves today, not just activating Yunel Escobar. When that happens, got to make room for him. Braves sent Brandon Hicks down back to Gwinnett, but they also called up minor league outfielder Brett Cleveland.
5 strikeouts for Tommy Hanson. 6 in a row have been set down.
And the reason they did that was Matt Diaz went on the disabled list today. He's had a thumb. I think it's his right thumb that's been bothering him, and he's had an MRI done on it. And there's something in there that they need to go in and check out, find out what it is, and get rid of it. And that's supposed to take place, I think, Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday.
Now, when you say something in there,
like a foreign body was what it was described to me.
So it's not a bone issue or anything like that, to your knowledge?
No. I think there's something in there that needs to come out that keeps aggravating him when he gets jammed and causes problems.
So a busy day for the Braves front office as Kelly Johnson, who struck out his first time up, now has an even count. Back up the middle. Convenient hop behind the second base bag. And Tommy Hanson, rolling merrily along, is set down 7 men in a row. Top of the Braves order is coming up, down by a skinny 1-0 score. Martin Prado, Jason Hayward, and Chipper Jones are due. The order gives the Braves a little better luck against Rodrigo Lopez. Let's check out our Geico quote of the day, and it surrounds Martin Prado and his heroics, Joe, in the ninth last night.
From Billy Wagner, he says, he's not a fun guy for me. I'm going to try to walk him. He's good enough with the bat that you know he's going to beat you. He's not the guy you want to face when you have to throw strikes. And he just served a little 2-2 slider from Chad Qualls right down the right field line.
46 hits for Martin Prado. He's had 15 games this year already with 2 or more hits in the same game. And he's hitting a robust .315 for the season. And like Bobby Cox with Jason Hayward, the Braves manager has been forced to experiment with a lot of different people leading off the ball game.
Yeah, but this guy does such a good job of getting on base that he was kind of the logical choice given the lack of on-base percentage from the other candidates.
He flirts with that right field line and just missed an extra base hit. Another slider, and he hit it where it was pitched, but foul. 1-2. Now it's even 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Lopez fastball's pretty straight. Strike he threw McLeod to start that at bat was right on the corner, looked like a 4-seamer, and there's another one.
Prado was looking outside and took the pitch over the inside corner and is retired to start the Braves' third.
Box tracks in order here. A little inside according to box tracks, but not for the man that counts, and that's Marvin Hudson.
So it's close, boys. Swing the bat. Here's Jason. He popped out after a long at bat in the first inning. And he drives that ball into right center field, but it's going to be playable for Chris Young. Shy of the warning track. And 2 men are retired. We are with you from Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia. We welcome those of you watching us on the Armed Forces Network and around the Southeast here on Sports South. With Joe Simpson, I'm Chip Carey, Arizona, with a 2-out solo home run from Justin Upton. That's the only man that scored so far in tonight's game. So a lighter bat for Chipper, you say?
34 to a 32. And it may be just for his left-handed swing.
That ball driven toward left center field. And that ball's going to get down. And Chipper will have a 2-out double. Now, I can't remember, Joe, many at-bats of late where Chipper's hit the ball the other way. Maybe that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. It's also a good sign to see the ball jump off his bat this way toward the gap. A mistake up and out over the plate. Chipper's always had good power to left center, batting left-handed. And he splits the outfielders and puts himself into scoring position for McCann.
Bryant's knocked in 4 runs this year with 2 outs.
Chipper can get out there closer to Kelly and Adam LaRoche and talk some smack.
McCann singled for the first Braves hit, leading off the second inning.
I remember a pitcher years ago named Jerry Don Gleaton, left-handed pitcher who was with Kansas City, and then the Royals traded him to Detroit, and his first start was against Kansas City, and George Brett lined a single off of him his first at bat, and as he's running down the first baseline, he's yelling to his old teammate, "I'm in your mind. I'm in your mind."
2 balls, no strikes. Outfield straightaway and deep. And McCann drives that ball down the left field line. Jackson on the run at the wall is going to have room. Brian McCann gave it a ride to left, and Chipper and McCann hitting the ball the other way. Maybe a sign of better things to come tonight as Arizona leads by a run.
To tear into Arizona and keep Kelly Johnson and the Diamondbacks grounded. Braves, Diamondbacks, tomorrow at 1 on Fox Sports South.
That is the case. We will wrap up our series with the Diamondbacks tomorrow. A couple of former Oakland A's. Dan Herron will pitch for Arizona. Tim Hudson will take the ball for the Braves in the series wrap-up. So we hope you'll join us back here in Atlanta, and what we hope will be a chance for an Atlanta sweep.
Well, and it's A great matchup. Two guys who are pitching really good baseball right now, too, and Heron among the league leaders in strikeouts.
First pitch swinging, Connor Jackson. A drive into left center field. Then Nate McLeod will run down. One pitch, one out. And 8 in a row have been set down by Hansen.
Good play there by McLeod to call off Hinske. He's got more range and more experience out there. And with all due respect to Eric, who's been doing a good job in left field, you want that center fielder to take as many fly balls as he can get to.
Now let's see if Tommy can avoid falling behind Justin Upton here. That was the critical factor in his 6th home run of the season. Back in the first inning with 2 outs.
Well, that's the Coors Light cold hard blast. And it was launched. Really no doubt about it.
Cy Young's
his 6th of the year.
But he falls behind again. 2 balls, no strikes. And this is an Arizona club that's dropped 7 games in a row. But Upton and Stephen Drew have been their hottest hitters during this rough week of desert baseball.
His fastball has been lively tonight. That was 96.
Tommy with 5 strikeouts in the game. Now has a 2-2 count to Upton. Hansen entered this ball game 7th in the National League in strikeouts, 10th in the league in earned run average. And tonight makes his 8th start of the season with 3 wins, 2 losses. And just missed the corner. Now a full count.
Went after him on a 2-0 count with a fastball in the first and paid for it. Let's see if they try that again.
Nope. Fly ball to right that Jason Hayward's going to catch.
Went with a get-over slider. He got him just with about a 3/4 swing.
So bases empty, 2 outs, 9 in a row are set down in our Braves broadcast on Sports South, presented in beautiful high definition by H.H. Gray. Joe Vincius is our fine producer tonight. Bill Cochran, our associate producer, and great to welcome back our director, Gary Lehman, and our statistician and graphics coordinator, Gretchen Caney, back in the truck here in Atlanta. LaRoche took a called third his first time up. But not this time. Boy, Arizona's jumped at the first pitch a couple of times in this inning. And that's their 2nd hit.
They like to swing it.
And here is Mark Reynolds.
This is the guy that scares me the most in their lineup for obvious reasons. 44 homers last year. It's nice that they can move him down to the 5 spot with LaRoche on their team and deepen their lineup a little bit.
That one out of reach of Brian McCann. LaRoche will move up 90 feet. A wild pitch.
What was that? Apparently, on that curveball, Tommy Hansen was thinking along with me. He didn't want to hang it, so he snapped that one off a little too short. But Reynolds is so strong, the ball really jumps off his bat, and you know he's going to be swinging. I know he strikes out a lot, but that's part of the fear factor. He's cutting it loose.
Well, we've talked a lot about contact to damage ratio. Just think if Reynolds could cut his strikeouts in half, what his batting average and what his power would be. This is a man that hit 260 last year. but struck out 223 times at 578 at-bats, but hit 44 home runs. And he really is almost a feast or famine kind of hitter at the plate.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And pretty much anybody that was critical of him for all those strikeouts said, you don't have to deal with it, because this is the way I swing and this is what I do. Fewest games to 100 homers. Bob Horner, the former Brave, at the top of the list. Eddie Matthews, Troy Gloss in there.
1-2 count. LaRoche at second. And Reynolds fought off a tough pitch. 44 homers, the second most in a single season with Arizona. And people forget, too, about Reynolds. He's a guy that not only can hit the ball a long way, but he can steal 20 bases, too.
Solid all-around player. Ahead in the count here. Don't have to give in. But McCann and Hansen having a hard time with LaRoche at second getting the signs together. It was a long meeting. I mean, Marvin Hudson was able to walk all the way out there to break it up.
One ball, two strikes. Infield plays Reynolds to pull.
That's not really what they talked about. Tommy let it fly, but a little off the mark.
Well, maybe that'll set up the outside corner with a 2-2 count. Missed a spot badly that time, and fortunately too far inside. Full count.
Got a base open. Again, he doesn't have to give in. That was not supposed to be to the inside corner. It was supposed to be away. But the slider or curveball might be a good choice here.
Good call, and Reynolds fought off another tough pitch. Tommy's coming off that 8-inning gem against Milwaukee, allowing 4 hits and 8 strikeouts as he beat the Brew Crew, trying to run his lifetime mark against Arizona to a perfect 2 wins and no losses.
Pretty good curveball there that Reynolds fought off. Like it stayed inside a little bit, though. Yeah. And that's what gave him the opportunity to get a piece of it.
That's at least 3 pitches, though, in this sequence where Tommy hasn't been able to get the ball to the outside corner.
No. Slider, curveball. Do they go back to the fastball?
He heats him up, and Reynolds will sit on down. Tommy Hansen with his 6th strikeout of the game. Reynolds wants to know if it was a strike. Marvin Hudson said it was. trivia question.
Okay.
Who was the last Braves infielder to lead the team in homers and steals in a season? We mentioned Mark Reynolds with all that power. Had 24 steals for Arizona last season. We'll have the answer for you in a little bit. Here's Troy Glaus. He walked his first time up. Braves loaded him in the second. Couldn't break through. And now Troy jumps at the first pitch and registers the third Braves hit of the night.
It's a good question. I'm not sure that it's... that's a good pitch. Troy went down and got a slider. I want to say Jeff Blauser. I know that's not right, but he's probably listening, so he'd be happy that I just said his name.
Jeff's probably applying pomade to his hair, thinking we're going to interview him if he's the answer to our AT&T trivia question. How about Ron Gant?
Back when he played second?
I just can't remember if he had a 30-30 year as a second baseman or if that was when he played the outfield.
I think that was later.
It had to be later.
Yeah.
Marcus Giles?
Chipper? You're not going to cheat again, are you?
No, I'm not. The media guide's nowhere near.
I see that computer light up.
High fly ball to right. That's playable for Upton. And back to first is Troy Glaus. Hinsky has flied out in his first two at-bats tonight. Here's Unell. We could go all the way back and say somebody like Jerry Royster didn't have a lot of power, but he could run. I think that's the hardest part of it now, is finding the stolen base guy anymore.
Yeah. Rafael Furcal would be a good choice, but I think his career high was about 15 homers.
That's a good question. We'll have the answer for you in a few minutes. Escobar had a terrific at-bat his first time up. A 10-pitch sequence that earned him a walk, and it loaded the bases. And that's pretty much what he did the whole time the first time. Spraying the ball into the seats off to the right side.
You got to figure he's going to be a little late on some pitches for a few games because you just don't simulate live action when you're hitting off coaches. Got a couple of hits last night in live action at AAA. That was 3 at-bats and a walk. But they've also worked him away, and that's part of why he's fouling all the balls off to the right side, too.
But as we've seen over the years with Escobar, that's his stroke. When he's really going well, he'll line the ball right over the second baseman's head into that alley in right center field.
That's a great swing that he's able to use at times, but again, it's another one that he's going to have to see a few pitches, get in a few games to get that going. That inside out.
I mean, he is really coiled, isn't he?
Been anxious to get back in there.
But as anxious as he's been to play, he hasn't been over anxious at the plate, has he?
Last at bat, after he fouled off all those pitches, was able to lay off that pitch up and in. The only time they came in on him to draw the walk, load the bases, the Braves just couldn't capitalize. McLeod struck out, and Hanson grounded out.
Bouncing ball up the middle. To second for one. Quick turn by Kelly Johnson for 2. And a double play will end the Braves' 4th inning. On we go to the 5th. Rodrigo Lopez is making a 1-0 lead stick. Airways and by Verizon. Beautiful sunset in Atlanta. 1-0. The Diamondbacks have the only run of the game. It was a Justin Upton first inning homer. Braves have had a couple chances, but only 5 hits combined so far. Both Hansen and Rodrigo Lopez are pitching very effective baseball this evening. Stephen Drew, Chris Young, Chris Snyder coming up. And a strike to Stephen Drew. 15th pick overall in the draft in 2004. When you look up and down this Arizona lineup card, they've got a lot of homegrown prospects.
Which was not their pattern when they won the World Series.
No. Back then they had Mark Grace, they had Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, Louis Gonzalez,
Jay Bell,
yeah,
Matt Williams, Steve Finley.
That's past Chipper, who was in on the grass. And Drew had an angle to shoot for, and he filled the gap and has the Diamondbacks' 3rd hit of the game, leading off this 5th inning.
Right off the end of the bat. I'm not even sure the pitch was a strike, but because Chipper's drawn in, he has limited mobility there in on the grass. Able to slap it by him.
Yeah, with this Arizona club, think back just 3 years ago, they won the West. And a lot of these kids were playing for them and having starring roles, especially this guy, Chris Young. But some of the so-called experts feel that some of these youngsters really haven't progressed nearly as rapidly as Arizona thought or hoped that they would.
Well, he hit so many homers and struck out so much, they kept saying, well, as he matures and the more he plays, he'll cut down on his strikeouts, he'll make more contact, and he'll utilize his speed. Well, he kind of fell in love with the home run swing. That hasn't come to pass.
Close play at first. Well, Young is a lifetime .235 hitter in the big leagues. He's had a 32, a 22, and a 15 homer season in the major leagues. This year, though, his average in the 290s.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Young was originally a White Sox farmhand. And he was traded with El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and Luis Vizcaíno for Javier Vázquez and cash in 2005.
Well, he can go get him in center. And if he will cut down on his swing and put it in play more, he's going to hit close to 300 because he runs so well.
Ooh, that just missed, and Hansen wants to know where that was. So does that man.
Fox tracks. Shows it a little wide. Henson has to throw over to first a few times because he is very slow to the plate. Doesn't give the catchers much of a chance on a steal attempt if he uses that high, slow leg kick.
Drew's only attempted 1 steal this year, and he's not moving now. As the count evens up at 2-2. As a club, Arizona 9th in the National League in stolen bases. They've only attempted 22 steals this year and have been successful 17 times. He's running now, got a big jump, and McCann no chance to throw him out.
Second stolen base for Drew. I don't think Brian had a good grip on the baseball. Good crossover step by Steven. And looks like a lot like his older brother JD when he runs, doesn't he? Knees high.
Now full count's Chris Young. Big run out at second base with nobody out in the fifth. Inside corner, Hansen outguessed him and has his 7th strikeout in the game.
A lot of 3-2 breaking balls tonight. And that one to the front door, if you will, on the corner. Caused Young to give up on it.
In case you wondered, the team record in Atlanta for strikeouts by a pitcher in a game is 15. John Smoltz has done that twice. So Tommy nearly halfway there, and we're nearly halfway through this game tonight. Here's Snyder.
Got a good pitch to hit here. Fastball, belt high, and the anguish of knowing that you may not get another one that good.
Snyder getting the bulk of the playing time for the Diamondbacks behind the plate. They're missing a very important member of this offense due to injury. Miguel Montero, who's out with injury.
And Snyder could be called back home at any moment. His wife is pregnant and due to give birth any minute.
One ball, one strike.
And their backup catcher right now is John Hester, who is out of Marist High School here in Atlanta and attended Stanford University.
Well, if it gets desperate for the D-backs, I saw Michael Barrett at the ballpark last night. Maybe they could call him. Yeah, Michael was out. There's some friends and family here last night. 1-2 pitch. Grounded through the whole left side, a base hit. Drew around third. They're going to wave it. Hinsky's throw is on target, but a little late. And taking second is Snyder as he drives home his 18th man this season, and Arizona has added to its lead.
He had a clutch RBI hit last night. Comes through again here with his 18th RBI, as you said, Chip, and both hits this inning have had some eyes on him getting through the hole on the left side. Hinsky came up throwing, charged the ball hard, but his throw was off the mark, and probably the biggest fault there was overthrowing Chipper that allowed Snyder to get to second.
Nice job, too, by the man in the batter's box, Rodrigo Lopez. He was directing traffic on that play. He was trying to tell Stephen Drew to slide to the Arizona side of home plate as that throw was on target. Next hitter's not just supposed to stand there and spectate, is he?
No, that's very much appreciated by the base runner, too, when you get somebody that hustles up there to do that. You have to become a base coach. Well, that doesn't help you a whole lot standing over there by the on-deck circle.
Well,
I got to tell you.
I saw him wave, but I didn't know he was that far away from the plate.
If he's more in line with the plate where the runner can see him, it would help some.
Out of play foul.
JD got a little Turner Field dirt on him from a couple of different places, second and home.
He's from Hayhira, Georgia. He knows how to get that Georgia clay out of uniform, doesn't he? Little tapper back to the mound. Tommy will take the sure out. Rodrigo Lopez moves Snyder up 90 feet. And 2 are out for Kelly Johnson.
Tommy's body language right now is not the best. It's a little bit disgusted, having given up the run, but it's only a 2-0 deficit. And the way the Braves are swinging the bat right now, that's nothing to really concern yourself about. I know you would like to have had a run on the board when the Braves had bases loaded, 1 out in the second, didn't score, but it's just the 5th inning.
Well, the good news is the Braves are scoring runs. I don't know if you want to call it bad news, but as Kelly ropes that one down the right field line, and it touches the line, and that'll score a 3rd run.
But that's my point, is that if you're disgusted with yourself or upset about making a mistake to one of the hitters or another, then it leads to other problems down the road, which is what happens here. Kelly jumps on a hanging curveball, and just like that, it's 3-0. Just inside the chalk line. It's Tony's 2nd RBI.
The point I was going to make about this Braves offense, they're scoring a lot of runs, but they've been after the 5th inning. You know, at some point Arizona is going to get its bullpen straightened out. You hope it's not going to be in this series. But you are really playing with fire if you're going to start putting runs up with 12 outs left to play with.
I'll take it. As hard as they were to come by the first 30 games of the season.
Broken bat pop-up off the bat of Jackson. That's going to drop. And Kelly Johnson running with the pitch will score the 3rd run of this inning. And right now, you're right, Tommy Hanson looks exasperated. It's 4-0.
Made the pitch where they wanted to make it. It was just fought off. Might have broken his bat. Just a little Ric Flair out there in center.
Yeah, but the only folks saying woo are Arizona fans after that play. As Arizona, 3 runs on 4 hits in this 5th inning, now brings Upton to the plate with 2 outs. Braves spotted him a 4-run lead through 5 last night. Came back with 4 in the 7th, 2 in the 9th to win it.
Jackson's trying to time it so that he's got a little bit of a walking lead over there at first. And Upton has seen his share of breaking balls since the home run on the fastball in the 1st inning.
Big lead at first. And the former Cal Berkeley star, Connor Jackson, back at first. Jackson just turned 28 on May 7th. And now Upton down 2 strikes.
Good thought there to pitch out in case they were running on the 0-2 count. 0-2's not a good pitch to run on, but when you've already got a 4-run lead, again, if you don't make it, you have Upton leading off the next inning with a fresh count.
Still 1-2. Upton will turn 23 on August 25th.
Yeah, he's still a baby, too.
Made the All-Star team last year, hit .300, scored 84, 26 homers, 86 RBIs.
'25th pitch of the inning coming up for Tommy Handsome.
That's driven into center field, but playable for Nate McLouth. And he lost it. The ball's over his head. He never saw it. That ball wasn't within 30 feet of him, and Arizona's going to add a run. I don't think I have ever seen an outfielder miss a ball by 50 feet. And that is exactly what happened. Nate McLouth came in, and the ball bounced almost in the warning track.
When he was circling over to that with his glove up, I thought, gosh, I thought Upton hit the ball better than that. He was looking at a curveball, ready for it. And then when Nate started coming in, I thought, oh, I guess he didn't hit it as well. Jason Hayward knew where it went, but not Nate. And it's twilight time, yes, but there are a lot of dark clouds overhead. So it's odd that he lost it on a night like this with so many clouds up there. Usually it's when there's that glow in the sky.
That has scored a triple for Upton. Jackson scores. It's 5-0 Arizona. And that is a head scratcher.
Three-run scoring after one had come in. The three coming in after two were out.
A double, a single, a triple, and now another fly ball to center. McLouth going back and makes this catch. Arizona sends 8 men to the plate, 4 of them touch. That.
I'm going to say Davey Johnson.
Hey, that's a very good call. But are you right?
Eddie. 5. Guess he didn't run a whole lot.
That was back in the dead leg era, Joe. 5 stolen bases?
Maybe that's what they call the Cincinnati minor league team. Not the Redlegs, but the 5.
Quickly 2 strikes to Nate McLouth. Key at bat in this game for Atlanta came with Nate in the box in the second. Bases loaded, 1 out. He took a 3rd strike.
A rough night for him so far. It was rough last night until he came through in the 7th.
That one's down the right field line, and that one will rattle around for a second. Upton in quickly, and a good start for Nate McLouth.
Hanging breaking ball, a mistake by Lopez. And Nate gets it started. Try to get that run back. And it's only the 5th inning, so get him over, get him in, and make it a 4-run deficit.
Tommy will try to sacrifice for the 3rd time, and he will.
Good bunt.
McLouth the 3rd, 1 out, top of the order now. Martin Prado. Oh, looking at that 1958 Milwaukee Braves roster. Eddie Matthews talking about. Joe Adcock was on that infield. Johnny Logan mentioned Eddie Matthews. Red Schoendienst, Frank Torrey.
Catcher was Del Crandall, so other than Henry Aaron, I guess they didn't have a whole lot of speed. I'm sure he stole more than 5 bases, but we were talking about the infielders.
Right.
So.
Mentioned Henry Aaron was on that club. Billy Bruton, Wes Covington, Eddie Haas.
Those guys could all run.
Former Braves manager. Felix Mantilla, who was just inducted into the Milwaukee Sports Hall of Fame when we were up in Milwaukee last week. Popped up. That might stay in play. Adam LaRoche knows that territory well. And 2 are out. But as we all know, the real star of that 58 Braves team was our colleague Ernie Johnson.
Yep. Big Ern.
Here's Jason.
Well, it's going to take a 2-out hit now to get that 1st run across. Or a little help from the D-backs.
Jason hitting .500 this year with runners in scoring position. And ball 1 high.
Lopez is one of the few guys you see these days who takes the sign from the catcher with the ball outside the glove where the hitter can see the ball in his hand. Most of the time these days they're trying as hard as they can to not let the hitter see the ball at any time until the point of release.
Grounded right side. LaRoche is there. And the pitcher does his job, and the Braves can't cash in a leadoff double from Nate McLouth. 5 in the books in Atlanta, and Arizona leads 5-0.
who's twirling a 4-hit shutout through 5 innings. Not that he wasn't in some trouble. He was, especially in the second when the Braves loaded him up, but he struck out Nate McLeod and got Tommy Hanson to ground out. Survived this drive to left by Brian McCann. Nice play by Connor Jackson. And was able to get Escobar to hit into a 1-4-3 double play. So he's been busy, but he hasn't given up any runs so far.
And now Mark Reynolds leads off as a little lightning flashes off in the distance here at the ballpark. Heavy dark clouds as we paddle on into the 6th inning.
Think this guy likes to swing at fastballs?
I think so. He's trying to get that 100th home run out of the way. He'll ground to third. Chipper gobbles that up. And Gloss had to come off the bag and apply the tag. 1 out.
Tommy's thrown 87 pitches. A bulk of them last inning, but he needs to settle in, regroup, and give the Braves a couple more innings. His spot in the order not due up. Well, let's hope it is due up next inning. That means that he will be the 7th hitter in the lineup to come to the plate. But keep working.
Drew got that 5th inning started with a single, a stolen base, and came home on Snyder's hit. Arizona, like just about every team it seems in the National League, they get 4 runs, they usually win. That seems to be the magic number throughout baseball.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
I don't know why that is, but Atlanta, when they score 4 runs or more, they've won 16 of 19 games.
Well, they're going to have to score at least 6 again tonight. 2 in the 9th last night gave them the 6-5 win.
Did he go?
Yes,
he did. Drew down on strikes. That's 8 for Hanson, matching his total from his last start against Milwaukee. 2 up and 2 down. The Braves' 2nd annual Field of Green Expo, presented by Window World and WSB TV, will be held at Turner Field on Wednesday, May 19th. Bring a plastic bottle or 5 newspapers or 10 plastic grocery bags to be recycled, and you'll get a game ticket for only $3. Young is 0 for 2. Third time this year tonight for Hanson that he has struck out 8 men or more in a game. He did it on April 25th against the Mets. That was that 5-inning rain-shortened game. And as I mentioned last time out against the Brewers. So he's looking for a new season high. His career high is 11. And if he can stay in this game, pitch a couple more innings, you'd have to think he's got a chance to get there tonight.
One would think so because of the way this team swings. It's just what happened last inning was such an oddity, especially the last run when McLeod lost the ball. But before that, it looked like Tommy had just his body language wasn't good. Frustrated and then kind of distracted, and it cost him on the hanging pitch to Kelly that went for a double and an RBI, and then all of a sudden 2 more hits followed that. Pitch count high, 109 at Milwaukee, and he's at 95 right now.
1-2. popped up. Long run for Prado. And Martin makes a basket catch. And Hansen has a much-needed 1-2-3 top half of the sixth inning. Braves bats need to get busy. We're in the late innings now. Still 5-0 Arizona.
Cam. And the cool train. Long fly ball by Brian McCann to left field. But Connor Jackson made the great catch out in left field right up against the wall. Frozen for you right there on the padding. That's the Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
3, 4, and 5 in the Braves' sixth. Still some time left tonight. Got to get going. Braves have just 4 hits against this guy in this game. And to your point made earlier about Lopez, he's never beaten the Braves, but he's pitched him tough. Braves haven't seen him since the 2005 year. He's 0-3, a 3.46 earned run average. He's walked 2 men, he has struck out 3 men, and he's scattered just 4 hits.
And again, coming back from Tommy John surgery in 2008.
Popped up shallow right. Upton nearing the line. Still chugging, now slowing. 1 man down.
Chipper took his hands with him on that breaking ball. He didn't have much left on it. When you get way out in front and you take your hands with you, as he did there, there's just nothing left on the breaking ball. The hard part on the off-speed stuff is, even if you're fooled, is to not commit your hands. Leave something back. Not that time.
Well, it was Brian McCann's leadoff homer in the 7th that got the Braves back in the game last night. Let's see if, with 1 out, he can give this crowd something about which to cheer. Brian singled on the first pitch he saw in the second. He's also fly deep to left, as we've showed you. He's had 2 very solid at-bats so far tonight.
Good change up there. He's doing a good job of mixing his speeds. Started with a fastball, went to the changeup, back to the fastball. He's not really making any pitches back-to-back with the same speed or location, and that's what Ian Kennedy did with great effect last night.
Base is clear for McCann. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, isn't that the job of the next day starting pitcher? Man the chart, look for patterns, look for ways to duplicate the success or avoid the failures of the man the night before?
Absolutely, and then talk to him after the game. What worked, what didn't. I'd go over every hitter. ARI Lopez about how Kennedy pitched last night. And he's hitting his target. That's something Kennedy did last night, too.
Yeah, he's really been a nice find, Kennedy. Couldn't stick with the Yankees, but deserved a better fate as that, again, leaky Arizona pen let him down.
One of the descriptions that A.J. Hinch gave for Kennedy last night applies here to Lopez tonight, and that's pitching lanes, as he called it. And there's a good example of it. If the pitch was supposed to be outside, then he missed outside. If it's supposed to be inside, if he misses, then he misses inside. He's not missing to the opposite side of the plate where the target was set up. And that's what Lopez is doing tonight, too.
Unlike Tommy Hanson, who had that stretch, remember, where he was missing by 1.5 feet. McCann downswing, 5 in a row, retired by Lopez. And that is his 4th strikeout of the game. Troy Glaus bats with the bases clear. Lopez has been the pitching star tonight. Tommy Hanson has struck out 8 for the 3rd time this year. Upton gave the D-backs an early lead. Kelly Johnson drove home one of 4 Arizona runs in the 5th inning tonight.
That's 17 out of 23 hitters that have gotten a first pitch strike from Rodrigo Lopez, too. Big difference pitching ahead in the count.
There's a rocket into left field with 2 outs. Lost 2 for 2 with a walk in the game. That'll bring up Eric Kinski. His last 4 starts, Eric has 7 hits in 15 at-bats, including tonight's 0 for 2. And the way he's swinging the bat, he's due for that first Braves homer, I think.
Yeah, I think that's been part of his frustration on a couple of balls he's hit, including one hit tonight to left field that he thought maybe he had gotten that first one. Another good changeup. Well, 75 miles an hour. Was that a shot of the Braves dugout with Bobby Cox changing positions just to change luck? Down there by Pendleton and Hayward. And again, hitting spots.
Doesn't appear he's superstitious. Lopez, that is. 1 ball, 2 strikes from number 13. And a looping line drive will drop for a hit. Glaus around second. Hinski on his way to second. And the Braves have runners second and third. They have a 2-out rally of their own now.
Made a pretty good pitch, but it didn't move. It just stayed on the same line, and that allowed Eric to at least get wood on it and fight it off. Perfectly placed for a little bloop double. See if the Braves can capitalize with 2 out.
Those are 2 big runs out there. All of a sudden you get those, and then Arizona's got to think, uh-oh, here we go again. Lopez will work out of the windup with 2 outs. And a dribbler hit toward Reynolds at third. He'll charge, he'll scoop, and he'll throw him out. Braves strand a couple of men in scoring position. That ends the 6th inning. It's 5-0. The Diamondbacks in front. Have put together 6 hits, but have not yet been able to push across a run against Rodrigo Lopez and the Diamondbacks, who are trying to even up this series at a game apiece.
Rodrigo Lopez might have to throw 200 pitches tonight, even if he gets in trouble, to keep A.J. Hinch from going to their bullpen.
Chris Snyder leads off. Yeah, you think A.J. said, hey, look, Rodrigo, I'm getting a little old. I'm 36 today. That's all I want is 8 innings tonight. Well, he might get him. Lopez pitching a good ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Snyder chased home Stephen Drew with the Diamondbacks' 2nd run of the game back in inning number 5. A little disappointed his wife didn't call him before that 5th inning at bat and said, hey.
Yeah. Would have been nice, wouldn't it? Come home.
Please. And he later did, as Kelly Johnson doubled him home for the 3rd Arizona run.
100 pitch mark for Hansen.
And number 101 blows him away. A new season high for Tommy Hansen in strikeouts. And as we talked about in our open, Diamondbacks are at their average. They've struck out 9 times tonight. So 1 up, 1 down, and Fox Sports South is giving you access you can't get anywhere else. Get the latest news and notes from our daily insider blog, The Chop. And go inside the clubhouse with our Braves podcast and hear what Jason, Chipper, Bobby, and the rest of the team is saying after the game. Because nobody covers your team like our team, FoxSportsSouth.com.
Rodrigo Lopez doesn't have that look of a guy who's going to try to extend this at bat.
That's 10. And he's not going to even try to run to first. Nope. I'm out. See you later. You can just sense that about a player, can't you?
Yeah, you can just see it in his eyes. He didn't have his hind pockets in there. He really was just kind of ready to go, get ready to pitch the bottom of the 7th. It's anxious to hear John Denver sing.
Yes.
The 7th inning stretch.
Aren't we all? Tommy's set down the last 6 after the D-backs peppered him for 4 runs in the 5th inning. And now Kelly Johnson back up there. Kelly, another 1 for 3 in the game. He scored 3 runs in this series already. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm really happy things worked out for Kelly in the desert. He's a terrific kid. And taking advantage of what appears to be a fresh start. Gloss with a good play to his right. And Tommy Hanson retires Kelly Johnson. Cue up John Denver. It's 5-0 Arizona.
For the Arizona Diamondbacks, Justin Upton homer in the 1st, and then in the 5th inning, base hit through the hole by Snyder, drove in Stephen Drew, and then with 2 outs, a double by Kelly Johnson plated a run, a 2-out bloop by Connor Jackson drove in Kelly, and then the weird play of the night, fly ball to right that was lost by Nate McLeod. The ball dropped about 50, 60 feet behind him when he lost it. Turned into a triple for Upton and an RBI. They put 4 across in the inning and they lead at 5-0.
So in the 7th inning, the Braves will send Nate McLeod up first. Melky Cabrera has grabbed a bat, and he will bat for Tommy Hanson. Then the top of the order against Rodrigo Lopez. Braves try to get back to the 500 mark and extend their winning streak. Got a little help from Colorado earlier today. Mother Nature finally laid off Denver. And the Rockies behind Ubaldo Jimenez beat Washington 6-2 earlier today.
By the way, Adam Dunn hit a ball in the upper deck in Colorado today in that game.
Milwaukee continues to struggle mightily at home. The Phillies get Joe Blanton his first win of the season. And there's the East up to the minute. The Braves 5 games behind the Phillies with 17 wins and 18 losses. The other Eastern score has Florida leading the Mets 7-3. We'll see New York when Arizona leaves town. A bouncing ball off the bat of Nate McLouth. And a quick first strike. Line drive into right center field. You heard Bobby say, "Attaboy, Nate." Young with a slide tried to cut it off and did, but back-to-back doubles for Nate McLouth here in the 7th inning.
A home run in his last official at bat last night. Tonight a strikeout with the bases loaded, but he's followed that up with 2 doubles. 3 extra base hits in his last 4 official at bats.
Here's Melky Cabrera.
4th double of the night for Atlanta, Chip.
He's hitting 196. Blows the book on Tommy Hanson. As that ball hammered to right field. That ball, however, dies at the wall. And McLouth moves up 90 feet. Boy, when he touched that off, I thought Melky had a great shot of rounding the bases, but he just came up short for the first out.
And one of the toughest spots in the ballpark to hit the ball out right there in front of the Braves bullpen at the 390 mark. But maybe a sign from Lopez that he's tiring, the hanging curveball. But Upton able to track it. Nate's at third with 1 out. Remember, Braves had a runner at third with 1 out in the 5th, and Martin couldn't get him in, and that was on top of the bases loaded situation in the 2nd.
Now, so far in this game, the Braves have left 7 men on base. 6 of those 7 have been in scoring position.
Yeah, that offer with runners in scoring position is quite the opposite of what they had been doing, at least in the month of May.
No balls and a strike. The other thing, surprisingly, about this ball club, Braves have played 36 games now. Counting this one as that 36th game. Braves have been shut out 6 times.
Well, the infield's playing back here. All Martin's got to do is hit a ground ball somewhere other than to the pitcher, and the Braves are on the board.
And he'll hit it deep short. Drew dives from a knee, long throw, and he got his man, but that will score a run. Beautiful play by Drew at short. Give Prado his 15th run batted in, and there's a start. It's now a 5-1 game.
Yeah, but that good defensive play keeps the inning from really getting out of hand for Lopez. Great diving stop, and from one knee, you got a little help from Adam LaRoche on the other end on the tricky hop. But it's a 4-run deficit.
No balls and a strike for Jason Hayward, who's looking for his first base hit of the game.
Now Lopez has taken the sign with the ball in the glove. Remember earlier we showed you he was just standing there with his right arm at his side. Three shakeoffs. And a ground ball to Kelly Johnson.
And that'll retire the side. Lopez has given A.J. Hinch 7 innings of one-run baseball. His 7th inning took only 11 pitches. Braves are hoping for a late-inning comeback tonight to perhaps go for a sweep. However, it's a 4-run deficit. Arizona leads this game by a 5-1 score.
Hudson won his last start against Milwaukee. 6 strong innings, gave up only 1 run. He did walk 6. Didn't have his best stuff that night, but he hung in there, and his teammates got him some runs to work with and beat the Brewers 11-3.
That's our AT&T call to the bullpen as Tommy Hanson is out of the ball game after 7 innings. Craig Kimbrell in for the 3rd time.
Hard thrower. Still getting his feet on the ground at this level.
Kimbrell, a Braves 3rd-round pick just 2 short years ago, and he blazed his way through the minor league system. 73 career minor league games coming into 2010 with 28 saves and an ERA under 2. But the eye-popping number, 95 innings, 159 strikeouts.
And you got to figure he's going to be a little off tonight. I mean, he hadn't been out there in a week. Last time he pitched was on the 8th against the Phillies. The 2 games he's been in so far were back-to-back against the Phillies. First home appearance, and walks the first batter.
And the second batter is one of the hottest hitters on this Diamondback club. In fact, he's at the jackpot. Our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot is Justin Upton, who, as we told you, along with Stephen Drew, has been one of 2 hot hitters during a 7-game losing streak that Arizona's trying to break tonight.
Kimbrell was the closer at Gwinnett, and he still has the team lead in saves with 6.
I wonder how Jordan Schaefer's doing down there. Wasn't he supposed to go to AAA tonight?
I knew he was going to be in Mississippi for 4 games. I don't know when that was supposed to end.
1 ball, 1 strike. I think I remember the Braves saying Saturday in Gwinnett. Yeah, our producer Joe Vincia said Jordan went 1 for 5 at Mississippi yesterday and was scheduled to join the AAA club today or tonight. Let's see if we can.
Well, that's handy since Cleveland got called up to the big leagues from Gwinnett.
Out of play foul. Upton late on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Just when he thought maybe he'd get some relief. Talking about Upton with Tommy Hanson out of the game. Braves bring another guy in throwing 97. Oh, Troy. That hit the runner?
That hit Jackson.
Oh, right in the back.
How about that lucky bounce?
I'll say.
One ball, 2 strikes. At last report, Gwinnett was winning tonight over the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. That's the Phillies' AAA affiliate. They had a 1-hitter going in that game. And Jordan Schaefer 1 for 4 with a strikeout, leading off for the Gwinnett club tonight. Runner goes. Pitch is off the plate. No chance for Brian McCann to throw out the fast feet of Connor Jackson.
Remember earlier I was telling you about Jackson trying to get a walking lead? Watch that. He had happy feet over there, but he was moving before the pitcher ever broke. Second of the year for Connor. And no chance for Brian McCann.
Fastball blows him away. Runner at second, 1 out in the Arizona 8th. Don't miss it. Memorial Day, Monday, May 31st at Turner Field. The Braves and Phillies is merely the appetizer. The main course, how about that? The Beach Boys will be here. A post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit Braves.com/Beach Boys. That single for LaRoche, his first hit of the series. He's 1 for 8.
And he's a good low fastball hitter. .140 homers in his career for LaRoche. Career high 32 for Atlanta his last year in his first tour with Atlanta in 2006. 32 homers, 90 RBIs that year.
And he plays in a great home run hitter's park too. The ball flies out of Chase Field in Phoenix.
Yeah, he'll challenge that.
That's the advantage. The disadvantage is they've got to play the Giants and the Padres an awful lot with those two pitching staffs. And Colorado's too now. Fly ball struck well. Jason Hayward got his feet tangled up, but recovers to make the catch. And Jackson will tag and move to third with 2 outs.
Real good recovery here by Jason after he turned the wrong way. Runner was going to tag in any event, but he made a nice adjustment there. So leave that guy at third base, get your offense up there for the last 2 innings, and see if they can do some more of that come from behind magic.
Bullpen is silent for the Diamondbacks. 1 ball, no strikes to Mark Reynolds, who's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. 11 Diamondbacks have whiffed in this game. 10 of them were struck out by Tommy Hanson, a new season high. But the 5th inning, at least so far, the fateful one for the Braves right-hander. That's the inning that saw the D-backs score 5 times. And 3 2-out RBI hits in a row broke the game open. Clouth lost the ball in the lights, I guess. An Upton triple as a result of the play. 2 balls and a strike.
One pitch is he going to give in here? '94. It's almost like he took a little off.
That ball broke.
Yeah,
I thought it was some kind of a breaking ball. It wasn't. Right. And he lost him low. Bookend walks in the 8th inning. Reynolds aboard. Now Drew hits. Roger McDowell will pop out of the Braves dugout. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th inning, Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, Troy Gloss are due. And Lopez, last couple of innings at least, has looked human.
Yeah, he's made a couple of mistakes. Last night I wondered if after the implosion by the bullpen of the Diamondbacks yet again, if that would lead to some changes this weekend in their personnel down there. But none made after last night's game, and none are projected, at least through this series. Not that A.J. Hinch isn't ready for some new faces down there. The bullpen ERA almost 13 over their last half dozen games.
And that led to one of the most honest quotes I've ever read from a manager when talking about his team. The other day when we were in Milwaukee, what he called the performance of the guys in the bullpen pitiful.
Yeah.
Or pathetic, I beg your pardon, was the...
They're last in a few categories in the major leagues.
Yeah. But you don't have to worry about it if your starter goes 8 or 9. And Lopez has a chance to do that. Aaron's a terrific pitcher. Wonder how differently things would be for the D-backs if Brandon Webb was healthy. He's their staff ace, and he's got a bad arm. And only now starting to play long toss. They're hopeful of getting him back, but when that's going to be, I guess, would be anybody's guess at this point.
Now, there's no real projection on when he's supposed to return or go to rehab or any of that. He's with the team. I did see him yesterday.
They've got Chris Benson with the club. He may make a start next week. He's coming back from some shoulder discomfort. But look, you've been in that locker room before. As a teammate, you work hard for 8 innings to get a win, and then flash, it disappears. That's got to feel awful.
Well, you could see that last night, the way they were walking off the field. Disgust on the face of everybody.
Ground ball up the middle. Prado knocks it down, shovels to second, and ball dropped. A run is in. Prado had to cover a lot of ground as he was playing close to the first base bag at second base for Atlanta, and the diving attempt kept the ball in the infield, but Jackson comes home with a big run.
Boy, J.D. Drew has just hit him just out of the reach of two Braves infielders tonight. He got the rally started in the 5th inning, slapping one past Chipper. And now the diving effort by Martin. He couldn't get the lead runner. Base hit RBI. I think I said J.D. I meant Steven.
A quick strike to Young, who is 0-for-3 in the game. So an infield hit adds to Arizona's lead. It's a 6-1 score. And lesson learned for a young pitcher: leadoff walks late are never good things. That's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good stop. 2-1.
Nice play by Mack. Slider. And again, Kimbrel hasn't worked in a week, and he's a guy that's been closing. He was the closer for Gwinnett, and he was used to being in the thick of it. But he has thrown 29 pitches this inning, 17 out of the zone.
2 walks and a strikeout for Craig tonight. And now 3 walks and a strikeout. That'll load the bases. Here's Chris Snyder, the Arizona catcher. He has an RBI hit and a run scored to highlight his night.
Jesse Chavez is in the Braves bullpen, ready if needed.
This is a big guy to work behind the plate.
Huge.
I mean, Jared Saltalamacchia sized. 6'4", 245 pounds.
That errorless streak is pretty impressive. 223 straight games without an error. The longest errorless streak by a catcher is Mike Matheny, 252.
And that's pretty remarkable when you consider that he missed a lot of time last year with a bad back that required some off-season surgery. And he's a guy that Arizona's got under contract for a couple of years at pretty big money. There's some who thought they may try to trade Snyder, get a little more pitching help. But not with Montero hurt, and there's no place to put Snyder with the bases loaded and a 3-ball, no strike count.
Kimbrel's really getting under some pitches too. He's throwing hard, but he's dipping down a little bit and pushing the ball.
Well, the merry-go-round will start now with a 3-2 pitch coming. And he rallies to strike him out. Snyder strikes out for the second time in the game, and Arizona adds to a lead of 6-1.
for our Toyota Tacoma play of the game. Runners at second and third, 2 out. Little tapper by Yunel Escobar. Nice charge and throw by Mark Reynolds here to get Escobar and get Lopez out of the inning.
So it's all come together for Arizona, at least to this point, as we head to the 9th inning. The evening is done for Craig Kimbrell, who goes an inning, gives up a hit, a run, walked 3 men, and struck out 2. He'll give way to right-hander Jesse Chavez, who's Bobby Cox's second AT&T call to the bullpen.
And Rodrigo Lopez will hit for himself.
Why not? This guy's had quite a night.
He's thrown 106 pitches. 109 is his season high. But like I said, if he had the lead, I'm sure 200 pitches was not out of the question.
Fly ball down the right field line. As a friend of ours used to say, if we have to go down there, meaning the bullpen, trouble would be afoot for Arizona. But 2 strikes. And another punch out. That's the first for Chavez. 13 Diamondbacks have been whiffed in this game. And Jesse needs a good outing. His ERA has been climbing. He's been hit hard a couple of times, at least on the last road trip.
They struck out 13 times last night.
That is a hard way to win. When you have to outscore another team's offense over 6 innings, because 3 innings you're not putting the ball in play.
Kind of shortens your opportunities, doesn't it?
But not to mention, you have to outscore your own bullpen. But tonight, Arizona had a big outburst in the 5th to break the game open. And you figure runs will be at a premium tomorrow again at 1 o'clock. Heron and Hudson. Fly ball, well hit. Kelly Johnson drives that ball deep and out.
Wow.
His 11th home run.
The other way.
And the Braves fans here in Atlanta, many of them applauding the return of former farmhand and Brave star Kelly Johnson tonight.
That's a pretty simple swing, too. Short and right over the 380 mark. And he didn't just creep over either.
No. Chipper at third will handle that shot from Connor Jackson. And with that home run, Kelly Johnson now moves into a first-place tie in the National League with the Dodgers' Andre Ethier, who has 11 at the start of play tonight. Kelly still lives in the Atlanta area. His wife Lauren, new baby Cole. So it's been a happy homecoming for him. 2 more hits tonight. How many home runs did Kelly hit last year?
How about closing in already on his RBI total? He's already hit 3 more homers than he hit last year with the Braves.
His career high is 16. He may have that by June 1st. Good for him. Here's Upton.
For Jesse Chavez, it's the 4th outing out of his last 5 where he's given up runs, or a run, at least a run.
Up the middle, Escobar handles, throws off balance, and that's the best he could do. Boy, a heck of a job just to get to that ball. And Upton, a 3-hit game. Reaches with an infield single.
You know, a lot of times going that way, we'll try to make a 360 spin, but with Upton running, he knew he didn't have any shot unless he got rid of it quickly. Single, triple, and a homer tonight for Upton. Another 3-hit game.
And a rope by LaRoche into right center field. That's going to get to the wall. Upton around third is going to get the green light. And the Diamondbacks have scored consistently all night tonight. An 8-1 lead as LaRoche drives home his 24th. And the troubles for Jesse Chavez continue tonight.
Fastball straight and out over the plate for Adam. He's talked about how he likes the ball down and scalded that.
So a disappointing night for a big crowd at the ballpark tonight. 32,718. As the Diamondbacks lead by an 8-1 score. And foul off the bat of Mark Reynolds. Apparently a happy birthday for A.J. Hinch, the young skipper of the Diamondbacks, 36 years old. Took over for the Arizona club 1 year and 1 week ago when he replaced Bob Melvin in the manager's office. It was a rough year for the Diamondbacks. They went 72-90 and finished 25 games behind the Dodgers.
And as euphoric as things are right now, leading 8-1 and about to snap a 7-game losing streak, the concerns for their bullpen have not gone away because they haven't used them tonight. Braves unable to solve that man there, Rodrigo Lopez, who has gone the distance, scattered 7 hits.
1-2 pitch to Reynolds. And a line drive over short. That'll get into the alley. That'll bring home LaRoche. It is a 9-1 game. Right now, Jesse's not missing any bats. A homer, a single, and 2 doubles in the 9th inning, part of a 3-run frame.
See if there's any movement on this pitch from Jesse Chavez. No. Heart of the plate. Very straight.
Well, let them get it out of their system tonight. And with a lead of 9-1, now the Diamondbacks bullpen is going to start to work.
Now Carlos Rosa loosening up. They feel safe. It's an 8-run lead. If I'm Rodrigo Lopez, I say, you know what? I think I'll go out there and at least try to finish this, if you don't mind.
A rocket hit right center field. That one is gone. A 3 RBI night for Drew, his 3rd home run. These boys strike out a lot, but they hit it a long way when they catch it clean.
We showed Kelly Johnson in the dugout a minute ago after his home run, and the guy talking to him was Stephen Drew, asking him a question about Jesse Chavez, and apparently what Kelly told him worked. His third home run bounced right on top of the fence.
But I'll say this for the Arizona offense. With all the troubles their bullpen has in wasting victories for them, those bats haven't gone and hit, have they? 11 runs on 13 hits tonight.
There's that chat they were having by the cooler. Kelly went over and got a drink. They continued that talk.
Well, this is the fourth time this year that Arizona has scored double digits in runs. And Chris Young shatters his bat. And that sends this thing to the bottom of the ninth inning. The D-backs score 5 more times. They hit 2 more home runs. Rough night for Jesse. 11-1 Diamondbacks.
Our score and our Home Depot player of the game, Rodrigo Lopez. 8 innings, just 1 run allowed, walked 2, struck out 5, and really was in control of both sides of the plate all night long. He only had 1 inning where he scuffled a little bit, but had the bases loaded. 1 out, struck out Nate McLouth right there with the bases loaded. But inside, outside, taking a little off, putting a little on. His fastball never really over 90 miles an hour, but it was effective tonight because of the way he changed speeds. And in line for his second win.
So leading off the ninth inning for the Braves, it'll be Eric Hinsky. Eric has doubled in 3 plate appearances tonight. Rosa came up from AAA on Wednesday. He was acquired from the Kansas City Royals for infielder Ray Navarro. He was 2-1 at AAA Omaha, struck out 10, walked 7. Made it to the big leagues 7 times for Kansas City last year. And not surprisingly, he's been a relief pitcher as a professional for a while, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Somebody, anybody to stabilize the final 3 innings out of that bullpen.
Well, he certainly doesn't have a lot of pressure to work under here.
No. 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, the Aces, that's the AAA club of the Diamondbacks. Brett Butler is their manager.
Former Brave Rico Gronia is their manager in AA.
Ansky didn't think so. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pretty impressive start for Rosa. He strikes out Eric Hinsky, a man that doesn't strike out much for Atlanta. 1 out. Here's Unell. He's 0-2 with a walk.
Numbers 1 through 3 in the order for the Diamondbacks tonight went 6 for 14 with 2 homers, a double, and a triple. Johnson, Jackson, and Upton.
Same group for the Braves, 1 for 12 tonight. Braves bid to get back to 500 will go by the boards, as will their 4-game winning streak tonight. Arizona's 7-game losing run will also stop. And we'll see if the Braves can come back and win the series behind Tim Hudson.
Well, they certainly are capable behind Tim, and he's capable of shutting them down. He just can't walk the guys that he walked in that start against Milwaukee. Tied his career high with 6.
High fly ball center field hit by Escobar, but that's playable for Young. And 2 men are retired. Herron had a very interesting start last time out. He struck out the first 9 hitters of the game and finished allowing 10 hits.
And finished with 10 hits and 10 strikeouts, didn't he?
Exactly. Here's McLeod. I'll be very interested to see what Nate says about that fly ball to center. He's an all-star caliber player, but he missed that fly ball about as badly as you can.
The only thing that troubled me was that it wasn't that twilight sky that we've seen other outfielders have so much trouble with. It was cloudy, dark clouds, but it was pretty apparent he never saw it.
But he has responded with 2 doubles and is the only Brave to score a run tonight. Because that man in the middle of your screen was awfully impressive. Three balls and a strike.
Rosa might be the guy they've been looking for.
Toward first, and Adam LaRoche will seal the deal. Arizona gets 8 terrific innings from Rodrigo Lopez, and Carlos Rosa works a 1-2-3 ninth inning